Sorry for the late review, I was preoccupied lately. So Thor Ragnarok is about Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, was defeated by Hela, played by Kate Blanchett, and lost his hammer. He is imprisoned by the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum, as a gladiator, and he must fight Hulk in the arena to gain his freedom. As of now, I've seen this movie twice, and I have made my mind about my opinion on this movie. It is fine. I felt like I had a great time with it, and this movie had a lot of potential to become a very memorable MCU movie for me, like the two Guardians movie, Winter Soldier, and the Avengers. The humor was great, probably the best out of all the MCU movies. I love the 80s electro soundtrack. It reminded me a lot of movies like Tron and Kung Fury. Also, the style of the movie reminded me of Deadpool. In fact, at one point, I felt the film is more or less like a PG-13 version of Deadpool. I really loved Jeff Goldblum. I love his mannerism. He is by far the best actor in the entire movie. Everything he does brings me joy. I also really like Tessa Thompson, and I felt she is a great addition to the MCU cast, and I hope to see more of her in the future. Mark Ruffalo was amazing as Hulk, and Bruce Banner. This is a more comedic Hulk that we used to know from the cartoons, and they did a lot of really good jokes about him, referencing past MCU movies such as the relationship between him and Black Widow. Bottom line, all the acting are great, and every scene took place in Sakaar, the Hulk planet, were perfect. Notice I said the scenes in Sakaar are great, because the stories in Asgard is very generic. That is one of the biggest down points for this movie. The film felt like two different movies pasted together, and when it took place in Sakaar, it felt like a great comedy, but when it took place in Asgard, it felt a more generic and rather boring MCU drama. While not giving anything away, the outline of this movie felt more or less like the first Thor movie. Hela was okay. I like Kate Blanchett, but definitely she's a more forgettable villain like the most MCU villains. Some of the effects reminds me of Blizzard production rather than a big budget movie. At times, I felt like I'm watching a giant cutscene from a Warcraft game or movie. Overall, I really liked it. Had the film took place in Sakaar the whole time, I would even say it is the top tier Marvel movie. The serious moment, however, doesn't really work, and it felt like a sore thumb compared to the amazing comedy around. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You'll have a good time. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching my review, and as always, if you think I'm good, you're pretty good too.